Hey everyone, welcome back to the Easy English Podcast. I'm Jamal.
And I'm Juniper. Hi. If you like strong opinions, said in a nice way, you're in the right place.
Kind of like that friend who tells you the truth, but still brings snacks.
Exactly. Today we're talking about strong opinions, said well. So, how to say what you really think without starting a war.
Or a family fight at dinner, which I failed at last weekend.
Oh? What happened?
My uncle said something very controversial about social media. He said, only lazy people use it all day. And I just exploded.
Oof. What did you say?
I went, "That's stupid, you don't know anything." Which, is not a very nuanced answer.
Wow, Mr. Podcast about strong opinions, huh?
Yeah, I know. I broke my own rule. I didn't even try to see his perspective.
So, if you could redo that moment, what would you say now?
Maybe something like, "Hey, I see why you feel that, because a lot of people do waste time there. But some people actually work on social media, so it's not always lazy."
That sounds more balanced. You still disagree, but you also show you understand one part of his idea.
How about you? Do you usually defend your opinions, or do you stay quiet to keep the peace?
It kinda depends. At work, I'm careful. With friends, I'm louder. But I try not to attack people. I try to criticize the idea, not the person.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, like, my friend said, people who don't go to college are just not serious. And I said, I don't agree with that idea because it ignores people who learn in other ways. I didn't call her mean, I just challenged the assumption.
That's nice. So the trick is, don't say, "You're horrible." Say, "This idea has a problem."
Exactly. It sounds small, but it really changes the mood.
Okay, teacher. What other rules do you have for strong opinions?
One big thing is to use I more than you. Like, I feel, I've seen, from my experience. It shows you're sharing, not attacking.
So instead of, "You're wrong, cancel culture is bad," I could say, "I feel worried when people lose their jobs over one mistake."
Yeah, that's already softer. You still say your strong opinion, but you don't imply the other person is stupid.
I think tone is huge too. Even a kind sentence can sound rude if your voice is sharp.
Right. If you roll your eyes and go, I understand your perspective, it sounds like you're an idiot.
Yeah, that's the "I'm pretending to be nice, but I hate you" voice.
Yeah. So maybe rule number 2, watch your face and your voice, not only your words.
Do you think it's okay to raise your voice if you care a lot about something?
Sometimes the topic is really emotional, but when voices go up, ears close. People stop listening and just prepare to defend themselves.
Yeah, I do that. If someone shouts, my brain goes, attack mode.
Same. So maybe strong opinions are actually stronger when they're calm.
Can you think of a time when someone shared a hard opinion with you really well?
Yeah. My cousin once said he doesn't want to have kids. In our family, that's almost, illegal.
The most controversial opinion of all.
Yeah, but he said it so clearly. He was like, I respect people who are parents. For me, I know I enjoy my freedom, and I don't want to give a child only half of my energy. It was strong, but also very respectful.
And how did people react?
Some people still didn't like it, but they couldn't really attack him, because he wasn't attacking them. He just described his own life, his own choice.
That's such a good point. If you talk more about yourself, people feel less judged.
Have you ever changed your mind because someone shared an opinion in a good way?
Yeah. I used to think remote work was lazy. Then my friend explained his day, in detail. He didn't shout. He didn't say I was wrong. He just showed me his schedule and how much he gets done. And at the end, I was like, okay, I was wrong.
Juniper, that's really powerful. When we feel safe, we can move our opinions a little.
What about online, though? It feels harder to stay kind online.
Oh my God, yeah. People write things they would never say face to face.
If you like that movie, unfollow me now.
Exactly. Zero nuance, just drama.
Maybe one rule for online strong opinions. Read your comment once more and ask, would I say this in a room with this person?
Yes, and maybe also ask, am I trying to understand or just trying to win?
Do you think we always need to be balanced, though? Like, is it okay to be, I don't know, very clear and not soft sometimes?
I think some topics need strong language. For example, if someone is racist, I'm not going to be super gentle. I'll still try not to insult them as a person, but I'll speak very clearly against the idea.
Yeah, I agree. Being polite doesn't mean you accept harm. You can still say, this behavior is not okay in a strong voice.
Maybe the question is, who has the power in that situation? If the other person already has more power, they don't also need your soft words all the time.
That's a deep point. So being nice is not always neutral, right?
Yeah, sometimes it just keeps things the same. I think a smart speaker knows when to be soft and when to be firm.
How do you prepare for a hard talk? Like when you know you're going to disagree with someone you love?
Honestly, I practice in my head. I choose one or two main points, so I don't start bringing every problem from the last 10 years.
And in 2012, you also forgot my birthday.
Yeah, exactly. I try to stay on the topic. And I also think of one nice thing to say about them, so it doesn't feel like a full attack.
So like, I love working with you, and I need to talk about how you speak to me in meetings.
Yes, that kind of sentence is strong, but kind.
Do you ever ask before you share a strong opinion? Like, hey, can I be honest?
I do that a lot. It gives the other person a small warning, and they can say, not now, if they're tired.
Yeah, consent for opinions. We need that.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Okay, what about listening? We're talking about speaking, but how do we listen when someone else has a strong opinion we hate?
Good point. I try to repeat back their main idea. Like, so you're saying, it shows I heard them, even if I still disagree.
That must be hard in real time, though.
Yeah, super hard. My brain just wants to shout, no, no, no. But when I slow down, the talk becomes less like a fight and more like a real exchange.
I also ask questions. Not fake ones, but like, what made you feel that? Or, have you seen the other side? Sometimes people only know one small part of a topic.
Also, we can admit when we don't know enough. It's okay to say, I have a strong opinion, but I might be wrong. That little line changes everything.
All right, maybe we can move to a quick vocabulary recap before we start another fight.
Good idea. Okay, vocab time, but fun.
So first word, nuanced. If an opinion is nuanced, it's not black and white. It shows small differences and little details.
Next, perspective. That's the way you see something, your personal view. Two people can see the same event, but from different perspectives.
Then we had controversial. A controversial topic is one that many people fight about because they strongly disagree.
Assumption. An assumption is something you think is true without checking. Strong speakers test their assumptions instead of just trusting them.
Balanced. If your opinion is balanced, you try to see more than one side. You can still choose a side, but you understand the other side too.
Defend. When you defend your opinion, you protect it. You give reasons and examples so people can see why you think that way.
Criticize. To criticize is to say what you think is wrong with an idea, a plan, or even a movie. Remember, criticize the idea, not the person.
And imply. When you imply something, you don't say it directly, but you suggest it. Like if I say, "Wow, you're late again," I imply that I'm not happy, even if I don't say it.
So all these words help you talk about strong opinions in a smarter way.
Yeah, try to use them this week. Maybe in English class, maybe in a message to a friend. But, maybe not in a huge family fight.
Or if you do, at least do it in a very nuanced and balanced way.
We believe in you.
All right, we're going to finish here. If you enjoyed this talk, hit subscribe and like so you don't miss new episodes.
And tell us in the comments, what strong opinion do you have? And how do you say it in a kind way?
Thanks for listening to the Easy English Podcast.
Take care, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.